Good evening once again. It's good to be here with you this evening, and would like to welcome our internet viewing audience as well, those on YouTube that are watching this evening. We'd like to extend that welcome to you. I guess the question tonight that we will ask and try to answer for you is, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? What's your purpose here on earth? Do you know? I knew better after I read this message here. By the way, this was written by Brother Trent about 6 years ago, I believe. I hadn't even asked him if I could use it, but if he sees it, he'll be all right with it. I won't try to alter it any, so here we go. Again, what are you doing here? Solomon was a very wise man who also happened to be king over God's chosen nation of Israel. God appeared to Solomon in a dream and asked what he should give him in 1 Kings 3 and 5. Solomon requested an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy so great a people? 1 Kings 3:9. God granted Solomon this request and also blessed him physically. In 1 Kings 3, it concludes and states that all Israel heard of the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king, for they saw that the wisdom of God was in him to do judgment. Thus, we would do well to heed the instructions given by Solomon in his writings. One of those writings is the book of Ecclesiastes, which means preacher in the Greek. Indeed, this is what Solomon calls himself in this book. The book of Ecclesiastes chronicles the various things Solomon experienced to discover the purpose of our existence. It answers the age-old question, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? As with any book of the Bible, it must be read as a unit, or we will be left with false conclusions. I found the book of Ecclesiastes to be quite depressing until I got to the very end of chapter 12. What all did Solomon experience, and what were his conclusions? We'll begin with pleasure. Solomon held nothing back from himself in the area of pleasure. He gave himself to wine, as we see in Ecclesiastes 2 and 3. He built houses, gardens, and pools. He obtained servants and livestock. He had money and entertainment. And if that were not enough, anything else he wanted, he got it. His conclusion, vanity. Hear him from Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 11. He says, Then I looked on all the works that my hands had wrought, and on the labor that I had labored to do. And behold, all was vanity and vexation of spirit, and there was no profit under the sun. Everything he had was classified as vanity and vexation of the spirit. In other words, emptiness, unsatisfactory, transient, and it was like chasing after the wind. This is not our purpose for being here. Academics. Perhaps our purpose for being here is just to obtain all manner of knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Let Solomon speak for himself in Ecclesiastes 1:16 through 18. He says, I commune with my own heart, saying, Lo, I am come to great estate, and have gotten more wisdom than all they that have been before me in Jerusalem, yea. My heart had great experience of wisdom and knowledge. And in 17, and I gave my heart to know wisdom, and to know madness and folly. I perceive that this also is vexation of spirit. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. Vexation of spirit, grief, sorrow. This cannot be our reason for being here. Granted, we do need to have some knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, as Solomon will plainly state later. However, this is not our purpose for being here. Well, how about work? Solomon will attempt something else now. Maybe our reason for being here is to labor and work. I am to spend all my days working and nothing else. Have you ever asked yourself the question, why do I work? Solomon questions the profitability of work in Ecclesiastes 1:3 and 3:9. He observes that as we came into this world, so we must leave. Laboring for the wind, he says. His conclusion is like the others as read in Ecclesiastes 2:22 and 23. For what hath a man of all his labor and of all the vexation of his heart, wherein he hath labored under the sun? And 23, for all his days are sorrows, and his travail grief, yea, his heart taketh not rest in the night. This is also vanity. It is soon in this book that Solomon sees there is one event which happens to everyone, and that is death. He refers to it throughout Ecclesiastes. Solomon's conclusions regarding all these things he has experienced so far is vanity. Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher, all is vanity. Surely there is something else we are to be doing. What is the conclusion? What are we doing here? Let us hear the conclusion. The final 2 verses of the book of Ecclesiastes reveals to us the conclusion. Ecclesiastes 12:13 and 14, beginning in 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment, with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. There it is in plain, simple English. What are we doing here? We are to be fearing God and keeping his commandments. Why? There will be a judgment day, and everything we have done, good or bad, will be brought into judgment by Almighty God. Are you fearing God and keeping his commandments? If not, you can start today. If you're here and you've yet to fear God and obey his word and be baptized, or if you've done that and you've slid backwards, as we say, and you've sinned and you'd like to come forward and confess those sins and seek forgiveness, or if you're just simply in need of the prayers of the congregation, whatever your need may be this evening, we want to encourage you to come forward as together we stand to sing the song that's been selected.